After losing her mother, 8-year-old girl was exposed to heartbreaking abandonment, then a million. Lily sat on the cracked steps of her front porch, the sun dipping low, casting long shadows that danced like memories of laughter that once filled her home. Just months ago, her mother, a whirlwind of kindness and sacrifice, made this place alive. But since the illness came like a thief in the night, silencing every giggle and whisper, Lily felt swallowed by an ocean of grief. The neighborhood around her resembled the somber palette of her heart, a mosaic of neglected homes, where chipped paint and crumbling sidewalks were symbolic of a town struggling to breathe. Her mother's absence was like a ripple in water, widening and deepening. The loneliness seeped into every corner of their once vibrant home, transforming her sanctuary into a hollow shell. As the weeks passed, anyone who could stepped and vanished, their faces fading from her life like smoke. Lily clenched a worn teddy bear, the only remnant of the warm embrace that had once surrounded her. With each passing day, the silence pressed down harder, heavier. But on this particular evening, fate had a different plan. Mr. Thompson, her retired neighbor with laughter lines that told stories of bravery, noticed the little girl's sorrow. He shuffled across to her, a comforting presence in the solitude. "Hey there, kiddo," he said, kneeling beside the porch. His eyes twinkled like stars, and for a moment, hope flickered in Lily's chest. He shared tales of courage from the war, adventures that made her heart race. In every story, he wove threads of resilience, teaching her that despair could turn to strength. It felt like a soft hand reaching through the dark, pulling her toward light. Under his guidance, Lily began to dream again, envisioning a world where she could be more than just a girl grappling with loss. Yet, the fragility of hope was swiftly challenged when her estranged relatives came to visit, masked in the guise of concern but soaked in judgment. They spoke of a loving home, and for a moment, Lily allowed herself to believe. But as they left, smirking and whispering about her mother, the ache in her heart turned into a piercing sense of betrayal. It cut deeper than the pain of loss. The question of who family truly was echoed in her mind. Where was the love, the warmth she longed for? Just as despair began to suffocate her, a spark flickered within. Lily decided she would create a safe haven for children like her, those hungering for warmth and happiness in their lives. She envisioned a neighborhood event that would light up the darkness. Her spirit ignited hope among the kids from the block. They rallied with enthusiasm, each one finding solace in this shared creation. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But just as the excitement spread, another wave of turmoil crashed against her newfound hope. Unforeseen challenges arose, hinting at deeper struggles that threatened to unravel her dreams. As she stood at the crossroad of uncertainty, a crucial question lingered in the air. Could she find the courage to face the chaos and redefine what family truly meant in a world that had once abandoned her? Fear and determination mingled in her heart as the shadows deepened once more, leaving readers yearning to discover Lily's fate. Lily stared into the fading light, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. The children from the neighborhood had gathered in her backyard, their laughter spilling into the air like music. They were ready to transform the dull, lifeless space into something vibrant and alive. They brought their brightest crayons, old sheets for improvisational tints, and some string lights that flickered like stars. In that moment, it felt like a small miracle was brewing. "Okay, everyone," Lily called out, trying to inject her wavering voice with authority. "Let's make this place amazing. This will be our safe haven." A cheer erupted from the group, a sound so pure it warmed her insides. Together they painted murals on the tree fence, depicting flowers, suns, and even an enormous rainbow. If only they could paint over the sadness that clung to Lily like a second skin. But as dusk settled in, so did an unsettling silence. The chaos of kids briefly halted as they caught sight of Mr. Thompson approaching with a concerned look etched across his face. Lily, he said softly, tapping the fence lightly. I overheard your relatives are coming again, and I wanted to give you a heads up. A cold shiver ran down Lily's spine. The joy that had filled her heart started to deflate like a punctured balloon. She felt the grumbling pit of anxiety stir in her stomach. The memory of their hurtful words and judgmental glares hung around her like a storm cloud. She glanced at the kids, who seemed busy with the colorful chaos of creativity, oblivious to the coming storm. We'll be ready, she said, forcing a brave smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Mr. Thompson knelt down beside her, his gaze piercing yet gentle. You have a good heart, Lily. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. But proving herself felt like the only way. That evening, Lily lay in bed with her teddy bear, the whispers of her relatives echoing in her mind. She wished they could understand that losing her mother didn't mean losing her strength. As anxiety tugged her thoughts, she reached for her notebook and began sketching an idea so bold and bright it pushed the shadows aside. The next day, the kids poured back into the yard, buzzing with enthusiasm. I have a plan, Lily announced, her confidence building as she spoke. Inspired by Mr. Thompson's tales of bravery, she decided they would hold a family appreciation day in the park. But what if our families don't come? Asked Jamie, the shy boy from down the street. His question hung heavy, laced with doubt. Lily's heart ached for him. Then we'll be our own family, she said, a spark of defiance igniting within her. We can show what family really means. With that declaration, the kids got to work. They created invitations, baked treats, and even built a small stage where they could perform. Each day was filled with laughter and effort. But as the day of the event approached, the underlying worry pulsed ever stronger in Lily's veins. What if their efforts weren't enough? On the eve of the event, while everyone else slept soundly, Lily found herself wide awake, grappling with fear, that age-old, heavy feeling that threatened to crush her spirit. What if nobody came? What if the day turned out to be just another disappointment? Deep down, amid all the doubt, one thought resonated: no matter what happened, these kids had become her family, a network of hearts entwined with hers. Maybe, just maybe, that was enough. As dawn broke, illuminating the world outside, Lily took a deep breath. Today would be the day that could reshape everything. Could this little event be a lifeline to the brighter world she'd been dreaming of? Little did she know, it wouldn't just be a simple day in the park, it would bring revelations that would change her life forever. Would Lily have the courage to face the unexpected? Would the love they built together be enough to overcome the hurdles ahead? The sun rose gloriously as Lily stepped into her backyard, feeling its warmth on her skin. Today was the day. She looked around at the colorful decorations that the kids had created, and a sense of pride bubbled up inside her. The little stage they had built sparkled with hope, and the trees swayed gently with the light breeze, hiding the remnants of her worries. As the morning wore on, the children began to filter in, one by one. Jamie ambled over, clutching a batch of cookies they'd baked together yesterday. I brought these, he said, his shy smile brightening her mood. I hope they're good. I'm sure they'll be amazing, Lily replied, her confidence rising as more kids arrived, excited chatter filling the air. They all pitched in, setting up tables for the treats and arranging chairs facing their little stage. But in the back of her mind, the nagging fear lingered. What if their families decided not to show? Every laugh and smile felt like a fragile thread, ready to snap under the weight of her doubts. As noon approached, the park began to fill with families and friends. Children ran around, and parents caught up on the latest news. Lily's heart raced as she watched unfamiliar faces mingle with the neighbors she'd grown up with. But amidst the bustling energy, her gaze was locked on the entrance, waiting for the people who, despite being family, felt like strangers. Finally, she spotted a figure approaching. It was her aunt, trailed by her cousins. Relief surged through her, quickly overshadowed by the familiar prick of anxiety. They waved as they walked toward her, but Lily felt her heart drop when she noticed their expressions: skepticism cloaked in thinly veiled pity. Look at what you did with the yard, Lily, her aunt said, the compliment feeling strained, as if she were expecting so much more. It tore at something deep inside her. Thanks, Lily replied, forcing a smile, while her stomach twisted in knots. We're having a family appreciation day. Everyone's invited. Oh, right, her aunt seemed to glance around, not quite convinced. Where's the rest of your family? We don't need anyone else. This is our family. Right, everyone? Lily turned to the kids, who were busy performing silly dances on the stage. A roar of laughter erupted, and the energy shifted back to the joy that had transformed her backyard. As the event began, the children shared stories, sang songs, and performed skits. Laughter flowed like a river, carrying away Lily's worries. She snuck glances at her aunt, watching her expression soften slightly as the kids engaged her cousins in fun activities. Maybe this was enough. Maybe this was what family really meant, the joy and togetherness, despite the chaos of life. And just when Lily believed the day was turning around, a hush fell over the crowd as Jamie's father arrived, arms crossed and brow furrowed. Jamie, come on. We need to leave now, he barked, eyeing the festive gathering with contempt. Panic swept through Lily like a cold wind. Wait. We were just. But Jamie was already retreating, crushed by the harshness of his father's words. The happiness in the air cracked as the other kids began to murmur, uncertainty rising like a tidal wave. Lily's heart raced as she struggled to frame her thoughts. What would she say? How could she convince them that this moment mattered? Her voice trembled as she stepped forward, standing taller than she felt. Please, you don't understand. We all need this. Just give us a chance. The tension hung, heavy and thick, as silence enveloped them. Would this plea bridge the gap or create a widening chasm? Could she hold on to the family she found in those kids, even as the real ones slipped away? The answer lay in the next moment, a moment that could shatter her dreams or solidify the bonds she had created. What came next would decide everything. The silence felt like a thick fog, wrapping around Lily and the kids, trapping them in uncertainty. Her heart thudded loudly in her chest, every beat echoing her desperation. It was as if the world had paused, every eye turning toward her, waiting. Jamie's father shifted, impatience evident in his stance. All of this for what? A bunch of kids playing pretend? His voice was rough, cutting through the fragile atmosphere. Each word felt like an arrow aimed at Lily's hope. But she wouldn't let him take it away. Not now. It's not pretend, she exclaimed, her voice rising above the murmurs. This is real. We made this together. We're family, too. She looked at the kids around her, their faces painted with determination. Jamie stood frozen in place, his gaze flickering between his dad and the stage where the other kids were still dancing, unaware of the storm brewing around them. The onlookers shifted uncomfortably. Lily could see some were nodding, probably remembering their own childhoods filled with laughter and games. Others wore expressions of doubt, like they couldn't quite understand the bond these kids shared. Come on, Jamie, his dad urged, trying to pull him away. You don't need this. But Jamie hesitated. He glanced back at the vibrant stage, at the smiling faces of his friends, and for a moment, Lily saw a flicker of rebellion in his eyes. But we were having fun, he whispered, almost to himself. Lily took a step forward, desperation clawing at her. Jamie, please! Her voice cracked a little, but she pressed on. We can be a family. All of us, we can support each other. A silence fell again, this time heavier, more contemplative. Then, amidst the chaos, a small voice rose from the crowd. You don't have to go, Jamie. Stay. It was Sarah, a little girl with pigtailed hair, her arms stretched wide toward Jamie, as if wrapping him in a hug even from a distance. The shift was palpable. Jamie's posture softened, the grip of his father's hand loosening slightly. Faces around them brightened, rallying behind their bond. Yeah. Stay. Echoed another voice, and soon, a chorus of pleas echoed through the gathering. Lily felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Maybe, just maybe, this would work. But Jamie's father wasn't ready to concede. I don't think. Stop, a deep voice interrupted, cutting through the escalating tension. Lily turned to see her aunt standing taller, speaking with a conviction she hadn't seen earlier. Let the kids enjoy their day. We can't keep shutting them down for wanting to be part of something. The adults exchanged glances, a palpable shift in the wind as Lily's aunt's words washed over them. It felt like a push forward, a rallying cry. Lily's heart raced as she watched Jamie's father's jaw tighten, the conflict written all over his face. Could he let his son be a part of this celebration, this family of young hearts bound by joy? Just then, a loud cheer erupted from the stage as the kids resumed their shenanigans. It echoed like an anthem, shaking the lingering doubt from the air, and even Jamie started to smile. As the music swelled, Lily's mind spun with possibilities. A tentative victory blossomed until she caught sight of her aunt, who now wore a frown. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, Lily wondered if the cracks in their family could be mended. But just when she thought they might overcome the rift, something shifted in the crowd. An elderly man stepped forward from the back, eyes glistening with unshed tears. "What is family if not for moments like these?" he called out, voice rich with experience. Lily's breath hitched. Would this be the turning point, or was it just a new wave of uncertainty crashing down? The wind shifted again, but which way would it blow this time? The elderly man's words hung in the air, fraught with emotion. A hush fell over the crowd, as if everyone was caught in the weight of his sentiment. Lily held her breath, her heart pounding. Would they finally understand? Jamie took another hesitant step forward, clearly torn between his father's expectations and his newfound sense of belonging with the kids. "Maybe it can be both," he finally said, his voice quiet but steady. "Can't we have fun and still be a family?" Those words shot like arrows straight through Lily's heart, igniting hope. But Jamie's father furrowed his brow, the conflict deepening in his eyes. "You don't get it. This nonsense won't last. It's a distraction, Jamie. Life isn't all about games. But it can be. We play together, we laugh together," Jamie replied, an edge of defiance creeping into his voice. "They care about me, Dad." The murmurs among the crowd grew louder. Lily felt the tides shifting in their favor as adults began to nod, reconnecting their own memories of belonging. The children's voices rang out in unison, "Stay, Jamie." Tension hung as a fragile reality loomed. Lily watched Jamie's father, the tough exterior beginning to crack. For a fleeting moment, it seemed he might acknowledge his son's plea. Then the unthinkable happened. A woman in the back, who had been silently watching, stepped forward. Her eyes brimmed with compassion, but the weight of her words was heavy. "I once lost my son to circumstances none of us can control. He found joy in friends like these. Let them be kids while they can." That confession struck the crowd like thunder. Faces shifted, sympathy washing over them. Jamie's father shifted again, his tough facade wavering against the tide of others' experiences. Lily took a deep breath, sensing the shift. She risked stepping closer to Jamie's father. "You're scared," she said softly, not wanting to provoke, but hoping to reach something in him. "We all are. But these moments matter. They build the family we fight for." The crowd quieted again, hanging on the air between them. Jamie's father took a deep, shuddering breath, the weight of expectation pressing down. The storm of emotions swirling around him felt thick, yet vulnerable. "Jamie," he finally said, the softness in his tone shocking everyone. "If you really want this, if it means that much to you," he trailed off, eyes darting between his son and the dancing children. He looked almost lost, torn between his role as a father and his son's pleas for freedom and fun. "Please, Dad." Jamie's eyes shone with hope, the weight of the moment resting heavily on their bond. "Yes," Lily said, injecting her urgency into the air. "Let him be a kid. Let him grow with love and laughter. It's all he's asking for." As Jamie's father searched the crowd, faces began to emerge from the sea of people, parents nodding, children cheering, even strangers offering their silent support. Moments stretched, and then a sigh escaped him, laden with uncertainty. Okay, he finally whispered, the words tentative as if breaking a spell. "But just for today." A wave of relief washed over Lily. She looked at Jamie, whose eyes sparkled. They had stepped closer to the kind of family they all needed, even if only for a fleeting moment. But just as cheers erupted, cutting through the tension like a knife, Lily caught a flicker of her aunt's worried gaze. Was this victory sealed, or was another storm brewing on the horizon? With Jamie laughing and the others clapping, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. As she turned to face the dance of joy surrounding them, she couldn't help but wonder, what would the consequences of this day hold for them tomorrow? The moment felt electric, crackling with excitement and anxiety as cheers rang out, but in the pit of her stomach, Lily could sense a looming storm. Jamie's father, still standing there, clutched his son's shoulder, but there was a hesitation in his grip. Would he truly allow this simple joy to flourish, or would he snatch it back at the first sign of trouble? "Hold on tight, everybody," a voice bubbled up from the crowd. It was one of the older boys, rallying everyone into a circle around Jamie. "Let us dance." Encouraged, the children swarmed in, pulling Jamie into the heart of their fun. Laughing, twirling, and spinning, they drifted into a rhythm. Jamie's laughter pierced through, bright and pure like sunlight breaking through clouds. For a moment, everything else faded away. This was their world, a place filled with laughter, connection, and friendship. But as the jubilant moment unfolded, Lily noticed Jamie's father begin to step back, his brows furrowing deeper as if the joy was weighing heavily on him. She felt herself moving instinctively toward him. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" she asked, her voice steady, hoping to bridge a gap that felt dangerously wide. He looked down, a whisper of doubt clouding his features. "It's something," he replied, his voice distant. "But it can't last. Kids need structure, they need goals. They need memories too," Lily said, desperation creeping into her words. "These little moments will shape Jamie for life. It's not just about rules, it's about love." His eyes met hers, and she saw a flicker of vulnerability but also fear. The silence between them wasn't just awkward, it was heavy with unspoken truths. Jamie was still dancing, lost in the glee, his face radiant with freedom. This was the father and son's precious moment, yet here they were, standing on the edge of a new understanding or a precipice. Finally, Jamie's father turned his gaze back to the children. Lily watched his expressions flicker like a candle in the wind, and she held her breath, desperate to see which way the light would fall. Would it flicker out, or blaze brighter? Then a tiny voice broke through the tension. It was one of the younger kids, a girl with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile. "Mr. Harrison, can you dance with us?" A collective intake of breath filled the crowd. Jamie's father hesitated, uncertainty brewing in his chest. Lily saw that spark again, that flicker of a father submerged in memories of his own childhood. Every part of his body fought against it, but as the children cheered him on, coaxing him with their innocent joy, something shifted. A small smile crossed his face, hesitant at first but growing stronger. "Well, maybe just for a minute," he muttered, taking a tentative step forward. The children erupted in joyous cheers, an overwhelming wave that swept through the crowd. Jamie's father hesitated, standing at the edge, caught between obligations and the freedom that beckoned. In that moment, Lily saw a twinkle of hope, a chance to rewrite something broken, a flicker of joy beginning to spark in the heart of a man at war with himself. But would one moment of light be enough to alter the course of what had been set? As laughter mingled with the music around them, the question hung thick in the air, tinged with uncertainty. Before long, she caught a glimpse of her aunt from the crowd, eyes sparkling but cautious. In a way, it felt as if they were teetering at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into uncharted territory. The moment of trust was upon them, and yet deep down, Lily felt a tremor of dread that life's choices had consequences, some of which could ripple far beyond this one joyful day. As Jamie pulled his father into the dance circle, Lily couldn't help but wonder what would surface next. Would they embrace this new chapter? Or would the shadows of their past pull them back into silence? The music swelled, and with it, so did the anticipation. Would they rise together? Or would everything come crashing down? The moment Jamie's father stepped into the circle, it felt like the whole world paused, as if they were all holding their breath. His awkward movements drew giggles from the kids, their innocent joy like sunlight splashing across his reservations. It was painful for Lily to watch the turmoil in his face, but at least he was engaging. As he joined in the dance, Jamie's laughter grew louder, brighter, and now his father mirrored that joy, albeit in a hesitant way. He stumbled over his own feet, but the enchanted laughter of the children encouraged him. Gradually, the furrows in his brow began to soften. A flicker of a smile broke through, revealing a piece of the man beneath the weight of expectations and rules. Around them, the crowd swayed, clapping and cheering. Lily felt a sense of triumph. This was the magic of childhood, disarming, infectious, redeeming. The rhythm of the music blended with the joyful chaos, and the moment turned surreal as Jamie's father caught Jamie's eye. There was recognition, a connection, something that went deeper than mere laughter. "Go, Dad! You can do it!" Jamie shouted, beaming like the sun itself. Those words seemed to dissolve all barriers, and suddenly, it was as if they had been swept into a world where judgment didn't exist, only dance and love. Yet, the memory of Jamie's father clutching that heavy weight of responsibility lurked just outside this bubble of joy. A nagging doubt slithered through Lily's mind. Was this fleeting? Would this moment of warmth slip through their fingers like sand, leaving nothing but remnants of what could have been? As the song reached its crescendo, Jamie's father allowed himself a full laugh, a true laugh. It radiated like fireworks, lifting the spirits of everyone around. He twirled Jamie, and as they spun, the world around them seemed to vanish, leaving just the two of them in perfect unison. But then it happened. A moment's darkness flickered across his face. Lily saw it, sharp and undeniable. In his laughter there lurked a shadow rising. The dance had been a brief escape, a sidestep away from reality, but that reality was waiting, just outside the circle. The music slowed, the kids began to disperse, and the lightness began to drain from Jamie's father's face. Lily's heart quickened. Was this how easily joy could transform into despair? A single note changed, and suddenly, they were reminded of life's weighty expectations. She wanted to scream, it wasn't fair. Couldn't they grasp this moment, stretch it into forever? "Dad, where are you going?" Jamie's voice trembled, the confusion palpable. The gleam in his eyes dimmed, fear creeping in as he watched his father step back from the circle, retreating into shadow. Lily rushed forward, desperate to prevent the unraveling. "It doesn't have to end. You can choose to stay. We're right here." As she spoke, she sensed the tension rising. It felt almost tangible, crackling in the air between them. Everyone's eyes were glued to the scene, a collective breath held tight in anticipation. Jamie's father turned to face them, his back to Jamie. There was a war within him, and Lily felt an aching need to bridge the gap. "Jamie needs you," she implored, her heart racing. "You can't just walk away from this." For a fleeting second, hope flickered in his eyes again, and he hesitated. But as the silence stretched, so did the fear. Awkwardness returned and tangled with disappointment. The music faded, and with it, all the hope of that joyful moment shared. Was this truly the end? As Jamie's father stood torn between two worlds, the lingering question stood strong: could he break the chains that held him, or would he become prisoner to the past once more? In that moment, everything felt fragile. Would they find their way back to each other, or would the shadows reclaim their lives? The crowd was still. The laughter that had wrapped around them faded into a hushed uncertainty. Jamie's father stood there, teetering on the edge of a decision that felt weighty, like the heaviest stone. Every eye was fixed on him, and in that stillness, Lily's heart raced faster than she thought possible. What was it going to be? And then, in a strange turn of fate, Jamie took a step forward. His small, shaky voice cut through the tension. "Dad, please stay. I love you." The words hung in the air, simple yet heavy, and the plea reached deep into the heart of the moment. Jamie's father turned slowly, his face a mask of conflicted emotions: relief, fear, guilt. Lily's heart raced as she realized that this simple proclamation had the power to shift everything. It was like a light breaking through a clouded horizon, but would it be enough to guide him back? Tears welled in Jamie's eyes. "You were so happy just now. You can be happy again, I know it." His voice cracked, breaking on the brink of despair. The vulnerability in those words echoed, filling the circle with a warmth that contrasted starkly with the seemingly endless shadow looming over Jamie's father. Lily felt her chest tighten for Jamie. Her heart ached not just for him but for the man who was caught in the throes of his own burden. She'd witnessed his struggles, felt his distance more present yet miles away. And now, she dared to wish for something she wasn't sure he could give. A flicker of something indecipherable crossed Jamie's father's features, a softening perhaps. He took a small step back toward the circle, but then stopped. The battle raged within him, tearing him apart as he replayed the roles of father, son, and the man he wanted to be. Could he truly allow himself to embrace happiness without the crushing weight of his world following him in? Lily took another step closer, emboldened by Jamie's courage. "You deserve to be happy too," she said, her voice steady. "You deserve this moment right now." His eyes darted between Jamie and Lily, searching for something: understanding, acceptance, hope. It was a moment of raw vulnerability, and as every silent second stretched, Lily felt like she was diving into the depths of the unknown. Would he break through or retreat into shadow once more? As if sensing his hesitation, the kids began to stir again, filling the void with laughter and play. The music had faded, but joy lingered in the air like a gentle reminder that life pulsed with the sweet possibility of connection. It was Jamie who broke the silence again. "Dad, you can dance with me again. We can practice together, every day. Please." His voice trailed off, uncertain. Lily watched as Jamie's father inhaled sharply, the corner of his mouth twitching slightly. Just when it seemed hope might dim once more, a shuddering breath escaped him. You really want that?" His voice cracked, tinged with disbelief. "Yes," Jamie exclaimed, his passion spilling over. "I'll teach you all the fun moves." The tension held its breath, drawing everyone closer into the circle again. Jamie's father's gaze softened, uncertainty battling with the glimmer of desire. Like a flower turning toward the sun, he took a hesitant step forward. But before he could reach them, a sudden sound erupted: a distant siren, haunting, pulling at the edges of their moment together, a stark reminder of outside realities. The shadows were still lingering. Would he allow the sorrows to pull him away, or would he choose to stand with his son? As Jamie's father paused to listen, a flicker of determination sparked within him, but the sirens grew louder. What would he choose amidst the noise of the world? And as Lily stood on the precipice of hope and despair, she wondered, could this father embrace the joy before him, or would he let it slip away, buried under the weight of the past? Jamie's father felt the weight of the siren's wail slice through the warmth of the moment. His heart raced, caught between the sound and the soft plea from his son. He could feel the lives happening around him: the laughter, the dancing feet of children, the sun slowly dipping behind the trees. Yet the memories of his past loomed larger, dragging at his soul. Lily watched his face twist with anguish, knowing the external chaos mirrored his internal struggle. "Hey," she whispered, taking a step closer to him, "look at Jamie. He believes in you. He believes this can be different." Her voice was steady, a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters. Jamie, living in a realm of innocence, stared up at his father, eyes bright and pleading. "Dad, don't you want to be happy?" His words were earnest, layered with a child's faith. Like each syllable was a small bomb of hope waiting to burst. The crowd seemed to lean in, hanging on the edge of this pivotal moment. Jamie's father breathed out the word like it was a weight he hadn't uttered in ages. "I don't want to disappoint you again." The admission was punctuated with a shuddering breath, a revelation wrapped in regret. "You want tea?" Jamie insisted, voice tenacious. "You haven't yet." Lily felt the corners of her heart tug, a dance between hope and fear warring in her chest. She couldn't fathom what secrets gathered beneath the skin of this man, what battles held him hostage. But she saw him begin to shift. His posture straightened a fraction, as if Jamie's words gathered strength, testing the possibility of a future they could forge together. And then, the moment hung fragile yet fierce as an unexpected smile broke on Jamie's father's lips. It was hesitant, like the first breath of spring thawing the deep winter. "You really believe I could?" He couldn't finish the question, it almost felt too big to hold. I believe we can dance, Jamie replied, that determination blurring into joy. Just like before. You remember? The father's gaze flickered past Jamie, searching the crowd. Relief coiled within him, a cautionary dance with hope. The sirens drifted farther away, their haunting cries becoming softer than the love pulsing in his chest. What if he chose to step into this moment, to lift Jamie out of despair? Okay, he whispered, his voice strained, but undeniable. Okay. Let us try it. Cheering erupted from the small gathering, echoing through the warm evening air, wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. Jamie launched himself into his father's arms, their hugs swelling into a knot of unspoken promises. It was as if time slowed, the world became a blur, and all that mattered was this singular bond, healing in its fragile state. But just as the music started to swell again, that joyous sound floating on the breeze, something caught Jamie's father's eye, a shadow slinking across the edge of the crowd. A figure, familiar and imposing, stepped forward. His heart sank, the weight returning like an old friend he thought he'd lost. Dad! Jamie exclaimed, pulling back from the embrace, eyes wide as he spotted the figure too. Who is that? Every cheer drowned suddenly in tension, like a thunderclap rolling through sudden stillness. Jamie's father felt the ground shift beneath him as the realization clawed at him this moment wasn't as safe as he'd hoped. What would that figure bring with it? Old wounds or the chance for something new? As everyone turned to face the oncoming storm, he realized they were standing on the edge of another decision. Would he embrace the light or allow the dark to reclaim him? And in that instant, he understood this was not just about him anymore. Could he truly shield Jamie from the shadows looming closer? As the figure emerged from the crowd, the tension thickened like fog. It was Jamie's grandmother, a woman with a fierce glare that could silence any room. Fear brimming in her eyes, she moved towards them, leaning heavily on her cane, but it was her sharp words that struck first. "What are you doing here?" she barked, piercing through the moment. "This isn't right. You're dragging him into chaos." Lily's heart raced, feelings spiraling. The weight of both joy and fear tangled around them, ready to snap the delicate thread they had woven. Jamie's father stood frozen, torn between his son and his mother. "Mom, please, it's not chaos," he pleaded, looking past her to Jamie's bright eyes, now swimming with concern. "They're finding joy. Can't you see?" But Jamie's grandmother didn't waver. "Joy? You think this is joy? You need to be responsible. Provide a solid future for him." Tension crackled in the air, whispers spiraled among the children gathered around. Lily's heart ached for Jamie and his dad. Would they lose the spark of hope they had ignited together? "Grandma," Jamie spoke softly but firmly, a light growing within him. "They are my family. We all need happiness. And Dad's trying. Can't you give him a chance?" The crowd quieted, eyes darting between the weight of tradition and the breath of new possibilities. Jamie's grandmother hesitated, her gaze softening ever so slightly. She opened her mouth, ready to say something, but then she looked at her son, her expression stern yet tinged with concern. "I just don't want you to fail again," that's all she murmured, the fragility in her voice revealing a depth of love wrapped in fear. Lily took a step forward, emboldened by the connection they all shared. "We all fear failure," she said, addressing both Jamie and his father. "But happiness is worth fighting for. You don't need to do it alone. Family is more than just blood bonds, it's this laughter and celebration. It's strength to come together even when it's scary." Her words floated into the stillness, stirring hearts. Lily caught sight of Jamie's father's face as understanding washed over him, breaking through the walls he had built around himself. "Can't we be both?" Jamie asked, his voice ringing with sincerity. "We can work together. I want a family that finds joy. Please join us." A collective gasp echoed through the gathering as Jamie's father leaned into his son's words. Their eyes held a storm of emotion. Would he reach for hope, or would darkness claim them again? Breaking the tension, a small child squealed, "Let us dance, everyone!" as he echoed Lily's earlier enthusiasm. Others joined in, laughter bubbling up through the air, layering warmth as they began to twirl and spin once more. Lily smiled, watching as Jamie tugged at his father's hand. "Dance with me, please?" His infectious eagerness cracked the last remnants of doubt surrounding the moment. Jamie's father blinked, his walls beginning to crumble. In that instant, he felt a flicker of his own lost childhood, a yearning for freedom, laughter, and most importantly, connection. "Okay, I'll dance," he said, voice trembling but resolute, as he stepped back into the circle. The joyous cheers erupted anew, echoing through the park and resounding in the hearts of all gathered. Jamie's grandmother, still watching with mixed emotions, felt her heart soften. Maybe, just maybe, this moment could bridge the gap of the past. As the music swelled again, Jamie beamed, and together, father and son began to sway, awkwardly at first but with growing confidence. The crowd cheered as they joined in, an explosion of laughter breaking through the fog of despair. Lily felt a warmth blossom inside her, the magic of transformation weaving through them all. This family, even crafted from strands of heartbreak, was finding its strength again. There was pain in the past, yes, but there was also love waiting to bloom. "See?" Jamie yelled over the music, glancing at his grandmother. "This is what family can feel like." And in that moment, hope glimmered. Connections were being rebuilt, not just between Jamie, his father, and grandmother, but among every child who found solace and sisterhood in their laughter. As dusk fell, the park transformed into a constellation of lights and joy. The shadows seemed lighter, and the darkness, though ever present, felt a little less oppressive. Surrounded by friends, they could rewrite their story, forged in laughter, compassion, and a shared belief in each other. As the music played on, new beginnings flickered to life. Today was not just a simple day at the park, it was the dawn of understanding, the birth of a family reshaped by love and laughter. For Lily, at that moment, she realized something powerful. Family was where hope and strength intertwined with every twist and turn. And so, hand in hand, they faced whatever the future held together. Now, this is the moment where you come in. Don't wait even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. The more you engage, the more stories we can share. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support, and only true fans understand the importance of taking these actions. Let us keep spreading the love,